Hey, honey. Come sit with me on our currently very ugly little love seat here. Can we fit?
Oui.
Hey, we do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. I was afraid it was going to be too big for our space, but I think it's going to work fine. This little sofa.
Bonjour. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And welcome to yet another episode of Living a French Life. On today's episode, part 2 of the 3 square meters from hell.
Yes. Are we going to finish?
No.
Okay.
No, we're going to mostly focus on the stairs today. But it's all a work in progress, but we just kind of wanted to see where we are so far. We're at the usable stage, but we're not at the finished stage.
Yes. We did move in this past summer with a working toilet. So even though it did take some trial and error to figure out how to install that fangled European wall mount toilet, it was ready to go when we moved in. So we at least had that little simple pleasure of life.
And then after that, I worked on the stairs to get it so that we could actually get from the ground floor to the premier etage without having to use a ladder. So
that was also a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, each of these projects provide yet another chapter in this little house at Glandines.
it's true.
Last time, you might remember, we went to Millau and I bought a set of beautiful garden chairs. They are perfect. They are a type of plastic, so they're not a woven paper. Mm-hmm. But the good news is that they'll be durable and they can be out in the elements, and so I think they'll be perfect for our little fete we're going to have this coming summer. And getting those garden chairs meant that I started really thinking about the garden space. And even though I still am dealing with a large pile of rubble from the septic system being installed, I'm finding some time to create a few little spaces where I can plant some flowers, herbs, and vegetables.
Look at the camera. With that in mind, like and subscribe, and allons-y.
Hey, the weed whipping stopped, so maybe I can do this here. Let's see what we can figure out. All right. I'm going to give you my 5 tips for growing a kitchen garden. Number 1, make sure you plan ahead. It might not seem like that one squash is going to get so big, but it will take over the entire garden. And when you plant perennials, you need to plan how big that particular shrub plant is going to be in 3 years' time, and make sure you leave enough space. 2, plants all have different needs. Some need a lot of sun, some don't like to have their feet wet. So make sure you check your resources in your area. There's plenty online, and make sure you give your plants the best fighting chance they have to succeed for that season. Number 3, plant what you enjoy eating. If you don't like eggplant, there's no reason to include it in your kitchen garden. I love poha berries, or I think they're also known as ground cherry, and they're hard to find, so I plant those every year, and they just take off. Think about your favorites, think about what you can't find in the shops, and see if you might cultivate those things in your garden. Number 4, make sure you grow good soil, because that really is what makes a kitchen garden successful, is your soil. Make sure you augment year-round, and in the fall, put in a lot of rotted material. Collect leaves from your neighbors. If you have a farmer nearby, see if you can't find some manure to dig in, and really just give that ground a great dressing. So when the springtime comes, you'll be set and ready to plant. And number 5, make sure you save your seed and your cuttings, because those things don't need to be purchased every time. If you have a favorite lettuce, let some of the plants bolt. Gather those seeds and you'll have plenty of salad throughout many of the seasons. Also, think about cuttings. I love lavender in my kitchen garden because I use it a lot in my cooking, and it's so easy to make clippings from one plant. You don't need to buy more than one plant when it comes to lavender, or rosemary for that instance. Herbs are really easy to propagate, and it'll save you from getting that $64 tomato. Save your seeds.
What you doing, Karen?
I'm wrangling up a Topinombour.
Topimombours.
Jerusalem Artichokes. And
Are those the same thing as Sunchokes?
I think they are.
Okay.
I think they are. And we had just a little patch when we inherited the garden. And when they did the septic system, they broke up that little patch. And now we have a garden full of Topinombours. So I'm going to have to do some research on some recipes on what to do with Jerusalem artichokes. I know you can make a soup out of them. I know you can use them like water chestnuts in different Asian recipes. So I'm just pulling out a few so I can get over towards my hedge here. And yeah, we've got Topinombours, man. We offered some of our bounty to our neighbors, who quickly replied, no, because Topinombours were a starvation food following the war. It was one of the few things that was left standing or continued to grow and was available for food through the winter. And so the older generation of French do not eat these anymore, although they're considered a delicacy in a lot of restaurants in the US and might even be starting in Paris to sort of have a revival. But Jerusalem artichokes are not food that's eaten by the older generation because it reminds them of starvation food and what only thing they had to eat for so many years. If you want to grow Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes or Topinombours in your garden, you really only need a couple of little guys to get started because they will take over. So be careful about that. Plant them in the back of your garden because they get really tall and they get this beautiful little yellow, almost like a little sunflower on the top at the end of August or so. And you can harvest them when the plant starts dying back. Then you just put a couple of these with their little eyes back into the ground and you will have Jerusalem artichokes for the next year. Last little taste of summer.
And the sky is blue.
Good.
What you doing, honey?
So creating the access to the premier etage.
The stairs?
Yes, it's true. So of course I took the old staircase and I rebuilt that, and that's the second half of the staircase here.
Let me take a look at that.
And so this next part though is going to be a little tricky because this is the gentle swoop that my wife has requested. So
Gwen's keeping you company up in her nest.
yeah.
Honey, haven't you had these things apart like 4 times?
No, that's crazy. I wouldn't have had them apart 4 times.
Okay, 3 times?
No comment.
But they look sturdy now.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going. It's going. You know.
All right.
You keep doing it until you get it the way it needs to be.
All right.
You know, it just takes a little longer. But,
So we've got one more board to go up.
Yeah, this is the one I'm working on here, just lining it up to get it marked correctly, because I'm going to cut this board to make the return, which is going to be kind of the end part, and then the stairs, the swoopy stairs, are going to be in through here.
All right.
So
It's going to be great. So there'll be a landing, and we're going to do a little built-in.
a little bookshelf back here.
Yeah, a little
into
built-in.
into this space. That's why I
Yeah,
left this board out
storage.
here.
Storage is always a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm
So-
going to let you get back at it.
Yeah, it's moving along.
Good job, sweetie.
I made these nifty templates that are in the pretty close shape of the stairs, the particular steps that I'm building for our little gentle curve to get upstairs. And what I'm going to do now is to follow this outline with my pencil, and I'm going to cut that out, and then it will fit right into the spot it's supposed to, in theory.
So we have the Gwen's coming in for.
Hi, Gwen.
Yeah. She's really adjusted to the house as well.
Oh yeah, she even though we're over at the sheet right now,
Yeah.
she still comes over here.
Yeah, she's a good kitty. She's a good kitty. So let me think. I'm going to begin now. Here I go. Well, it's been a long couple of months to get the stairs in the bathroom put together. I was thinking it was going to take 2 weeks, and it took 2 months. Same is true for the garden. It's slow going at first, but you just have to do little by little. And quality, craftsmanship, gardening, it just takes time.
Yeah, and you're doing the right things. You're doing the things that are, for lack of a better word, the hardscapes. Getting the hedge in, doing the wall. Those are the things that kind of delineate the space, and it's the stuff that is much harder to do after you've got plants in the way.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to do the hardscapes of a garden first. Next year's big hardscape that we're going to work on in the garden is going to be the terracing that we're going to do, because we have a lower level of the garden and then we have an upper level of the garden, and somehow we have to connect the two. So that's going to be our big project for next summer.
Yeah, and we got a long list of what we want to accomplish on that.
Yes.
I'm moving very big rocks. I'm digging lots of dirt, and
yes. I'm hauling debris.
Oh, she's
hauling
doing.
dirt.
She is hauling like a champ.
Yes.
And
So
we're gonna put in a fountain.
A fountain that we sit in.
Because fountains have different rules than pools.
Yes, and I think it's going to even be smaller than a cocktail pool. So it truly will be a fountain. But I'm telling you, on those 40-degree days,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the fountain.
Yeah. When it's 110 Fahrenheit, you definitely want a nice,
Yeah.
cool place to sit.
Hopefully, we don't see those temperatures this coming summer. That was unusual.
And for me, with the carpentry things, you just gotta take your time. You can't. There's a certain level of frustration when you've cut the same piece of wood 3 times and it still isn't quite right. But you just gotta take your time. You measure twice, cut once, and then cut again, and cut one more time. But that way you sneak up on it and you get a really good fit. No gaps. And sometimes it means taking the stairs apart again because you want to get it just the way you want it.
Oh yeah, do you remember how when we also sort of adapt our plans, our design as we move along the project, because maybe what we thought we were going to do isn't the best use of the space, or it's going to take too much space, or for whatever the reason might be. But remember, I wanted just a slightly curved little banister to come down with those steps here into the snug, and it was just going to take way too much space, and so we had to let that go.
Yeah, it took up too much space, and it aimed the stairs in a direction that meant you would have to go around the table to get to the stairs. It was not good.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, if we had bigger space, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. And then we wound up changing where the door going into the powder room was going to be, so that we could, in order to put a piece of furniture on that wall, because we needed a place to put photo albums and games and things for our office supplies sort of things. So we needed that dresser there, and we couldn't put the door there, so we are adapting. So it's taking time. We are making changes to our final design in order to best utilize the space.
And in the end, we're going to have a lovely little house that we are just going to love.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in here for the rest of our lives.
That's it. I'm never moving again. Hey,
What?
do I get to unpack some cartons? Some boxes next week?
No.
Okay. Well,
Not yet. Well, I mean, you can, but where are we going to put the stuff?
I don't know.
We're kind of full at the moment.
We are. Okay, no boxes for me next week, but they're going to be coming. I promise you.
Soon.
Yes.
Coming up next time, I'll probably start showing you some of this wall that's behind you here, behind us here.
Oh, yes.
I started putting the paneling in for those walls, so we'll show you that.
Yeah, trust us, it's beautiful.
And maybe even some floor. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It depends on how much footage I got laying around. And we're just going to keep plugging away. Hopefully we get a wood stove in here before too long. Come on, Essie.
It'll be a beautiful thing. Until then, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you receive notifications when the next episode comes up, and please watch all the way to the end where we then place a few of our funniest bloopers.
Yes, and tell 2 friends, give it 5 stars, and whatever the kids do these days, do that.
Sounds good. À tout à l'heure.
It's a pretty clean morning.
This
My
is last
glasses
bet.
crooked.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Look pleasantly at the camera.
But you didn't let me tell the people that I was going to slip cover the very ugly sofa.
Okay.
That's
well,
Kate.
Say it now.
I'm going to slip cover this very ugly sofa. What are you doing?
I thought it'd be good for the bloopers.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
It's important to me.
Then that means it's important to me.
Yes.
I know, but it wasn't good.
Oh, you're
it didn't
upsetting
count.
Lucy. She's
No,
shaking.
you're upsetting Lucy.
Who's too loud?